This is News from the Swamp. I'm Amanda Curran. A new report from the Washington Post now suggests that deliberate sabotage may have been involved in last month's SpaceX explosion. Reporter Christian Davenport claims that during a review of the footage that captured the disaster, an odd shadow and then a white spot on the roof of the nearby United Launch Alliance was seen just before the blast. A SpaceX employee also says he was denied access to the building to investigate and points out that the ULA is co-owned by Lockheed Martin and Boeing, a long-standing competitor. ULA says U.S. Air Force investigators have since checked out the roof and found nothing suspicious. Though SpaceX has not speculated on the cause, Elon Musk did go on record saying that this was the most difficult and complex failure we have ever had in 14 years, as the explosion occurred during a routine tank filling. We've eliminated all the obvious possibilities for what occurred there, Musk said, so what remains are the less probable answers. Musk has publicly called on NASA, the Air Force, and the FAA to help with the investigation, and in particular is asking for any video recordings to be sent to him, as one of his previous tweets read, particularly trying to understand the quieter bang sound a few seconds before the fireball goes off. May come from rocket or something else. Watch for developments as the story unfolds. A team of geologists may have just proved that life really could be possible on Mars and where to look for it. Sean McMahon and his team from Yale University based their hypothesis on previous work that suggests hydrogen is produced during earthquakes when rocks fracture and grind together, and that if enough hydrogen is produced, it could support the growth of microorganisms around active faults. Though Mars is not very seismically active, hydrogen is not only released, but can also become trapped and stored inside fine-grained rocks. The team suggests that other forms of life could potentially live off this hydrogen under the Martian surface, as even the smallest Marsquakes could be able to generate the right levels of hydrogen for life. 95% of Mars's atmosphere is made of carbon dioxide, but probes have detected traces of hydrogen leaking away from Mars as its water vapors break apart, and the team hopes that this theory will not only point us to signs of past or current life below the surface, but will also aid the first human settlers, as hydrogen can be combined with carbon dioxide, already in abundance, to produce oxygen, which is a process already in place and is being used on the International Space Station. Social media has been exploding as of late, as more sightings of people dressed as clowns have been reported, with mass hysteria coming to a head, as false stories have been being posted as fact of people being shot by police or alarmed witnesses. During the last several months, sightings from at least 10 different states across the U.S. have been reported, and include people having been chased down the street with machetes. Some claim the clowns tried luring them into vehicles and have been seen by the sides of remote roads and in cemeteries. People dressing as clowns to terrorize others has been around for decades, but now new research looks into why clowns are perceived as creepy by the vast majority. Psychologists used over 1,000 volunteers aged 18 to 77 to participate in 3 online tests. The first test asked them to rate 44 different behaviors that they would consider creepy. The second asked them to rate the creepiness of 21 different occupations and to name 2 hobbies that they thought were creepy. And the third section, they were asked to measure how much they agreed or disagreed with 15 statements about the nature of creepy people. Based on the results, researchers found that unpredictability was a major factor that caused perceived creepiness, as was unusual patterns of eye contact and other nonverbal behaviors. The highest rated profession on the creepiness scale was clowns across the board. While we're on the subject of dressing up and scaring people, I'll be taking a closer look at some of the myths and traditions of Halloween through the month of October, like where the idea of trick-or-treating came from. During a time where it was once believed that the veil between our world and the spirit world was the thinnest, and that ghosts of the deceased could mingle with the living, one of the earliest superstitions was that the visiting ghosts could disguise themselves in human form, such as a beggar, and knock on your door asking for money or food. If you turned them away, you risked being cursed or haunted. In Wales, families would place bits of food on the windowsill for their ancestors and encourage them not to haunt the family. Others believed that by dressing up as a ghoul, any evil spirits would be tricked into thinking that you were one of them, so that they would not try to take your soul. In the U.S., trick-or-treating became a customary Halloween tradition around the late 1950s, after it was brought over by Irish immigrants in the early 1900s. More Halloween fun next time. I'm Amanda Curran, News from the Swamp.